Ladies and gentlemen, there is a force so powerful within you that it can transform your entire life, and that force is positive thinking. When you begin to think positively, you unlock the hidden potential that has always been inside you. I've seen people rise from despair to joy, from sickness to health, from failure to triumphant success, just by changing the way they think. You see, your mind is the gateway to your destiny. And the moment you choose to fill it with hope instead of doubt, faith instead of fear, courage instead of worry, that is the moment everything begins to change. The most amazing results in life don't come from sheer talent or lucky breaks. They come from a mind that refuses to give up and dares to believe in the best. Today, I want you to discover what can happen when you say yes to a new way of thinking. The results will astonish you. There's a silent, invisible power working inside every one of us, a power that shapes our lives, molds our experiences, and determines whether we soar or stumble. That power is the way we think. Positive thinking is not just a cheerful attitude or blind optimism. It's a spiritual force, a mental attitude that aligns your inner world with the blessings that God has already placed before you. You are not just a body walking through life. You are a living, breathing miracle filled with the divine ability to shape your destiny through thought. When you begin to change your thoughts, you truly begin to change your world. This isn't just a slogan. It's a truth that has stood the test of time. The Bible says, "As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he." That means your reality flows out of your thoughts. Think defeat, and you'll feel defeated. Think victory, and you'll find strength rising up inside you. Think fear, and you'll be paralyzed. Think faith, and you'll be empowered to move mountains. The amazing results of positive thinking begin the very moment you decide to believe in what's possible rather than in what's probable. I've witnessed it time and time again. A man burdened with debt and despair, his life sinking fast. He began to think differently. He held on to scriptures, surrounded himself with encouraging people, repeated affirmations every morning. Slowly, surely, the tide turned. Opportunities came. Strength returned. His life changed because his thinking changed. The world around him didn't transform first. He did, and the world had no choice but to follow. You see, the amazing results of positive thinking don't just happen in some far-off mystical way. They happen in the real world, on the job, in the home, in the hospital bed, in the face of crisis. Because when your thoughts are filled with faith, gratitude, confidence, and hope, you begin to attract the very things you desire. You become a magnet for solutions instead of problems. You stop focusing on what's going wrong and begin to see what can go right. So many people walk through life thinking small, doubting themselves, expecting the worst. But that is not how you were meant to live. God didn't design you to crawl through life. He designed you to rise, to shine, to overcome. And it begins in the mind. When you change your thoughts, you set into motion a chain of events that can bring healing, peace, prosperity, and joy into your life. The greatest miracle is not when your circumstances change, it's when you change. And that begins with a single decision, to think positively, no matter what, to hold fast to faith when everything says give up, to believe in light, even when the night is darkest. That is the kind of thinking that transforms lives. That is the thinking that leads to amazing results. Everything in life starts with belief. Before any great achievement, before any breakthrough, before any change, there is faith. Faith is the foundation upon which all positive thinking is built. Without it, your thoughts are scattered and your spirit is weak. But with faith, you gain strength that no obstacle can overpower. When you believe in a higher power, when you trust that you are not alone and that there is a divine plan guiding your steps, your entire mindset shifts. You begin to look at challenges not as dead ends, but as doorways to something greater. Faith lifts your thinking to a higher level. Positive thinking doesn't mean you ignore problems. It means you face them with courage because your heart is filled with belief. You trust that something bigger than the problem is working on your behalf. You may not know how or when, but you know something good will come out of it. That's the power of faith. It gives you the ability to move forward when the road is uncertain. It gives you hope when everything seems hopeless. And that hope fuels positive thoughts that create positive actions. And those actions bring amazing results. Faith in yourself is just as important. So many people fail before they begin because they do not believe they are capable. They carry the weight of doubt, fear, and insecurity, and it paralyzes them. But let me tell you, you were not created for defeat. God did not design you to live in fear. There is greatness in you, placed there by the Creator Himself. And when you begin to believe that, truly believe it, you'll begin to live differently. You'll start to see yourself as capable, worthy, and strong. You'll begin to take steps you never dared to take before. You'll start speaking with confidence, acting with boldness, and thinking with power. Faith gives you courage in all circumstances. When storms come, and they always do, faith keeps you grounded. It whispers, "This too shall pass." It reminds you that you've made it through before and you'll make it through again. When things seem impossible, faith says, with God, all things are possible. That kind of belief transforms fear into fuel. It turns trials into triumphs. It shifts your entire emotional and mental state from defeat to determination. The truth is, faith is not just a religious word. It is a way of thinking. It is a daily decision to trust, to believe, to expect good things. And when your thoughts are rooted in faith, your life begins to blossom. New opportunities arise. Peace replaces panic. Joy replaces sorrow, and strength flows into your soul like a river. Positive thinking starts with faith. And when you have it, you can walk through any valley with your head held high, knowing that something good is on the other side. Your mind is the master key to everything you want in life. It unlocks the doors to success, peace, health, love, and joy. Every thought you think sets something into motion. That's not just a nice saying. It's a spiritual and psychological law. You become what you think about most. If your mind is constantly filled with doubt, fear, worry, and negativity, then your life will begin to reflect those things. But when your thoughts are full of faith, hope, confidence, and peace, your life will begin to move in a new direction. What you dwell on internally is what you begin to manifest externally. You are not at the mercy of your circumstances. You are not a victim of fate. You are a thinker, and your thoughts are powerful tools. When you begin to take control of your thinking, you begin to take control of your life. If you think thoughts of abundance, you start to attract opportunities. If you think thoughts of healing, you begin to feel stronger. If you think thoughts of victory, you start to walk with courage. It all begins in the mind. That is where the miracle starts. That is where the breakthrough is born. Your mind is your master key. use it wisely. So many people focus on what they don't have, what they can't do, and what might go wrong. They rehearse failure before it even happens, but the person who understands the power of thought doesn't waste time imagining defeat. They imagine success, they speak it, they see it, they feel it, and they begin to move toward it. This is not wishful thinking. It's powerful thinking. It's a choice to train your mind to focus on the good, to expect the best, and to trust that what you hold in your mind, you will eventually hold in your hand. When you constantly think about problems, your energy becomes heavy and your actions become hesitant. But when you constantly think about solutions, you become energized, motivated, and ready to move forward. That's the difference your mind makes. It either locks the door or it opens it. It either keeps you stuck or it sets you free. And that's why you must guard your thoughts. Fill your mind with what you want, not what you fear. Feed it with truth, not with lies. Strengthen it with affirmations, scriptures, and uplifting words. Each day is a new chance to think a new thought, and each new thought is a new seed planted into your future. Plant faith, plant joy, plant confidence, plant gratitude. The harvest will come. Because when you understand that your thoughts shape your world, you stop blaming the outside and start working on the inside. Your mind is your greatest asset. Master it, and you master your life. What you continually hold in your mind, you will one day hold in your hand. That's the amazing result of positive thinking. Fear is one of the greatest enemies of success, peace, and happiness. It paralyzes the mind, weakens the spirit, and steals joy from the heart. It whispers lies that make you believe you're not good enough, not strong enough, not capable enough. It convinces you to settle, to shrink, to hide. But fear is a liar. It is not truth. It is not from God. And the only way to defeat it is by refusing to let it rule your life. You must stand up to fear and say, "No more. I will not be controlled by what I feel. I will be led by what I believe." Negative thinking is almost always rooted in fear. Fear of failure, fear of rejection, fear of judgment, fear of the unknown. These fears creep into your mind and plant seeds of doubt. You begin to say things like, "I can't do this," or "What if I'm not ready?" And the more you say those things, the more you begin to believe them. Before long, your life starts to reflect your fear instead of your faith. But here's the truth. Fear is not reality. It's a shadow. It only has power when you give it permission to stay. You were not born with fear. You learned it. And just as you learned fear, you can unlearn it. You can replace it with faith. You can rise up in strength and declare, "I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me." That's not just a Bible verse, it's a truth that sets people free. When fear says, "I can't," faith says, "God and I can." That is the mindset of the overcomer. That is the power of positive thinking grounded in divine truth. You are not alone. You are not weak. You are not without help. The power that created the universe is on your side. Refusing to let fear rule doesn't mean you won't feel afraid. It means you will not let fear make your decisions. You will act in spite of fear. You will speak up, move forward, and keep believing even when your knees tremble. That kind of courage grows stronger each time you use it. And the more you act in faith, the more your fear loses its grip. Eventually, what once scared you no longer holds any power over you. Your mind must become a fortress. Don't allow fear to sneak in and make itself at home. Don't rehearse your fears. Replace them. Speak life. Speak strength, speak victory. Say every day, I will not fear, I will believe, I will trust, I will rise. And you will, because faith always triumphs over fear. When you replace fear with faith, negativity with hope, doubt with truth, you unlock the amazing results of positive thinking. Fear fades, and the light of confidence begins to shine through every part of your life. Positive thinking is not just an idea, it's a discipline. It requires practice, effort, and consistency. Just as the body needs daily exercise to stay strong, your mind needs daily habits to stay positive. You don't wake up with a strong, faith-filled attitude by accident. You train your thoughts, shape your focus, and protect your mental space. One of the most effective ways to begin is through daily affirmations. These are simple, powerful statements of truth that you speak over your life every morning. When you wake up and say, I am strong, I am capable, I am blessed, today is filled with possibility, you are programming your mind to expect the good. These affirmations may seem small, but they create a big impact. Spoken repeatedly, they form new patterns of thought, and those patterns lead to new behaviors and outcomes. Another powerful tool is prayer. Prayer is more than a ritual. It is a lifeline. It connects you with divine power and peace. When you pray, you release worry and receive strength. You shift your focus from your problems to your provider. Prayer calms the storm within. It reminds you that you are not alone, that there is a force greater than your fear guiding your every step. Combine prayer with visualization and the results become even more powerful. Take a few minutes each day to see your goals in your mind. Picture yourself walking in victory. Imagine yourself overcoming challenges, succeeding, smiling, and fulfilling your purpose. What your mind rehearses, your life begins to reflect. Visualization makes your dreams feel real, and when something feels real, you are more likely to pursue it with faith and determination. Another vital step to positive thinking is choosing your environment wisely. You cannot expect to think positively if you are constantly surrounded by negativity. Who you spend time with matters. If you're around people who complain, criticize, and focus on what's wrong, it will pull you down. But when you're around people who uplift, encourage, and believe in better, your own thinking begins to shift. Surround yourself with positive voices, friends who speak life, books that build faith, music that lifts your spirit, and mentors who inspire you. Your environment feeds your thoughts, and your thoughts shape your reality. These practical techniques may seem simple, but when practiced daily, they create a powerful momentum. You start to catch yourself when your thoughts drift toward fear or discouragement. You begin to interrupt the pattern and choose a new one. Little by little, your entire mindset transforms. You walk into each day not defeated, but prepared, not fearful, but faithful, not uncertain, but confident. Positive thinking is a habit, a practice, a way of life. And when you commit to it, through affirmations, prayer, visualization, and wise companionship, you begin to unlock the amazing results it promises. Peace flows more freely, opportunities appear more often, and your inner world becomes a wellspring of strength, joy, and unstoppable hope. There is something incredibly powerful about a true story. It reaches into the heart and shows us what is possible. When we hear about real people who have faced overwhelming odds and still come out victorious, It stirs something deep within us. These are not just tales of luck or talent. These are stories of the amazing results of positive thinking in action. They remind us that no matter how dark the night, the light of faith and belief can lead us through. When someone refuses to give in to fear, when they choose to believe in a better future despite the evidence, something miraculous begins to unfold. I once met a woman who had been battling a serious illness for years. The doctors had given her little hope. Her body was weak, but her spirit was not. Every day, she filled her mind with positive affirmations. She prayed with conviction. She visualized herself whole and healthy. Even when she felt pain, she chose to speak healing. Slowly, her body responded. Day by day, strength returned. Her mind had led the way, and her faith had carried her. Today, she's not only healthy, she's inspiring others with her story. That is the power of a determined mind focused on faith instead of fear. There was also a man who lost his business, his home, and nearly all his hope during an economic crash. He was a father, a husband, and a leader in his community. He could have surrendered to despair, but he didn't. Instead, he began to read stories of others who had overcome failure. He filled his heart with Scripture. He stopped asking, "Why me?" and started declaring, "This will pass and I will rise." He took small steps, remained consistent, and refused to let discouragement take root. Over time, doors began to open. He launched a new business, this time with greater purpose. Today it's thriving. His family is strong. His faith is unshaken. His comeback was not accidental. It was the fruit of positive, faith-filled thinking. Another story comes from a young student who had been told by teachers and peers that she would never succeed. She struggled with self-doubt and insecurity until one day she picked up a book on positive thinking. It lit a fire in her. She began writing her goals on sticky notes, reading them out loud every morning. She visualized her dreams. She worked hard, but more importantly, she believed, today, she's a successful author and speaker, helping others rewrite the stories they've been told. These transformations didn't happen overnight. They came from people who chose to believe when it was hardest to believe. They kept their minds fixed on hope and their hearts open to miracles. That's what positive thinking does. It doesn't deny the storm. It builds a shelter of faith in the middle of it. When you choose to believe in the light, no matter how dark it gets, the light eventually breaks through. That is the amazing power of a positive mind and a believing heart. Obstacles are not the end of the road. They are detours that lead you to something greater. Every single challenge you face carries with it a lesson, a message, and a hidden gift. When you shift your perspective, you begin to realize that what you once saw as a burden may actually be a blessing in disguise. That's the secret of positive thinking. It teaches you to look at life through a new lens. Instead of saying, "Why is this happening to me?" you begin to ask, "What is this trying to teach me?" And with that one shift, everything changes. You're no longer a victim of your circumstances. You become a student of life, growing stronger with every test. I believe with all my heart that every setback contains the seed of an equal or greater comeback. Sometimes the greatest breakthroughs are born out of the greatest struggles. It's in the hard times that you develop resilience. It's when things don't go your way that you build character, discipline, and faith. No one grows in comfort zones. Growth happens in the stretching, in the challenges, in the moments when you want to quit but choose to press on. That is when your spirit expands. That is when the power of positive thinking becomes more than an idea. It becomes a way of life. A positive mind sees possibilities where others see problems. It finds solutions in situations that seem hopeless. It refuses to be defeated by delay or discouraged by difficulty. When faced with a closed door, the positive thinker doesn't stand there in despair. They look for a window. They believe that something better is always on the way. And that belief has a power of its own. It draws opportunities. It creates momentum. It keeps hope alive even in the darkest night. I've seen people face tremendous loss of loved ones, careers, homes, health, and still rise again even stronger than before. How did they do it? They believed that their story wasn't over. They refused to let the obstacle define them. They looked deeper, trusted harder, and stood taller, and step by step they turned their pain into purpose. That's the difference a positive mind can make. It doesn't erase the difficulty, but it gives you the strength to face it and the vision to see beyond it. If you're facing a challenge right now, don't give up. Don't let it convince you that you're defeated. Look at it differently. This could be the beginning of something greater than you ever imagined. Behind every burden is a blessing. Behind every loss is a lesson. Behind every closed door is a new direction. Keep your faith strong. Keep your thoughts filled with hope. What looks like an ending may be the setup for your greatest comeback. Positive thinking turns obstacles into opportunities and trials into triumphs. Keep going. The best is yet to come. Success is not a matter of luck or chance. It is the natural outcome of a positive, faith-filled mindset. When you think positively, you align yourself with the principles that create success. You attract better relationships, clearer opportunities, and stronger inner guidance. A positive thinker is someone who walks into each day expecting good things, and because they expect them, they begin to see them. It's not magic, it's mindset. What you focus on expands, and what you believe becomes your reality. If you consistently focus on growth, possibility, and purpose, your actions will follow, and so will the result. Positive thinking sets your mental and emotional atmosphere. It is like sunshine for the soul. It energizes, renews, and awakens the best in you. And when you walk in that energy, others feel it. They are drawn to your optimism, your strength, your calm confidence. Doors begin to open because people trust and believe in someone who believes in themselves. Your mindset becomes your magnet. If your thoughts are full of gratitude and expectation, you start to notice the resources and opportunities that were always there, but hidden from a negative view. You no longer ask, "Can I succeed?" but "How will I succeed?" That one shift leads to powerful action. The positive thinker also approaches failure differently. They don't see failure as defeat. They see it as information. They learn from it, grow from it, and use it to improve. They keep moving forward with the belief that every setback is temporary and every obstacle is an opportunity in disguise. They understand that success isn't about never falling. It's about rising every time you do. With every challenge, their faith grows stronger, their vision becomes clearer, and their purpose deepens. That is how success becomes inevitable. It's a journey fueled by unwavering belief. Health and happiness are also natural outcomes of a positive mindset. Science has shown that people who think positively experience lower levels of stress, better immune response, and increased longevity. But beyond the science, there's something deeply spiritual about it. A positive thinker wakes up with purpose. They carry peace in their heart. They don't allow the chaos of the world to enter the calm of their soul. They trust that what's meant for them will come and what isn't will pass. That kind of thinking doesn't just bring success in the material sense. It brings inner peace, and that is the greatest success of all. Peace, joy, health, success. These are not rewards handed out randomly. They are the fruit of a mind that chooses to believe the best, expect the best, and work toward the best. The positive thinker doesn't wait for a miracle. They live like the miracle has already begun. And because they live that way, their life begins to reflect it. Day by day, thought by thought, action by action, they build a life that becomes an example of what is possible when faith fills the mind. Success isn't just possible. It's promised to the one who never stops believing. You were not made for defeat, despair, or mediocrity. You were designed by God to live with power, peace, and purpose. There is a reason you are here, and it is far greater than anything you've experienced so far. Deep within you is a divine spark, a calling that only you can fulfill, a light that only you can shine. You may have been through hardship, disappointment, or heartbreak, but none of that changes the truth of who you are and what you were created to be. The past is not your prison. The mistakes are not your master. The delay is not your denial. There is more ahead, so much more, and it all begins with the way you think. Every great life begins with a great thought. A single powerful decision to believe that things can get better, to believe that you are more than your struggles, to believe that with God's help, all things are possible. When you start thinking positively, you don't just change your mood, you change your direction. You begin to attract peace where there was once pressure. You begin to walk in clarity where there was confusion. You speak hope where there was once hopelessness. That is the quiet miracle of positive thinking. It works from the inside out. And when it takes root in your soul, your whole life begins to bloom. Today is the perfect day to begin. Not tomorrow, not someday now. Start small. Start where you are. Begin with one thought. I believe my life can be better. Say it out loud. Repeat it until you believe it. Let it become the foundation on which you build a new perspective. When negative thoughts rise up, and they will, don't entertain them. Don't make them at home. Replace them. Speak over them. Declare, I am filled with peace. I am guided by purpose. I am empowered by faith. The more you do this, the more natural it becomes. You are not just speaking words. You are planting seeds that will grow into a harvest of joy, strength, and success. The world around you may not change overnight, but something greater will happen. You will change. You will become the kind of person who walks into any room with confidence, who faces every challenge with courage, and who sees every moment as a gift. That's what happens when you live in alignment with truth. That's what happens when you choose to think thoughts that reflect the goodness and greatness of God. It's not always easy, but it is always worth it. You are stronger than you feel, braver than you think, and more capable than you've ever imagined. Don't let doubt have the final word. Don't let fear write your story. You were created for a victorious life, and that life is within reach. Begin today. Choose to think positively, stand in faith, walk in purpose, and soon you'll discover that miracles are not far away. They're already on their way to you. Fill your mind with faith, drive out every doubt, and step boldly into your future. Because with God's power within you, nothing can stand against you, and your greatest days are still ahead.